views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Bronx Walk of Fame has honored Bronx natives since 1997, and past honorees include Swiss Beats, Fat Joe, and Prince Royce. This year's honorees represent the artistic, athletic, and scientific talents that have emerged from the Bronx.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome everybody to the 48th BronxWeek launch. How exciting.
You guys sound sleepy.
I know. Let's try that again. The borough president was not happy with that response. Welcome to the 48th annual BronxWeek launch. Much better. Is that okay, Mr. Borough President? Okay, there you go. It's great to be here at the newly open Lit Bar. Yeah. The only bookstore in the Bronx. So I'm not going to stand up here. By the way, my name is Olga Lucerato. I'm the executive director of the Bronx Tourism Council. And so my job here is very brief. I'm here to just welcome all of you before I then introduce a few people. But before I get started with that, I want to say that BronxWeek would not be possible without the partnership and you know, the sponsorship of the people that are behind this, besides us who organize it, but those of you who are here who have supported BronxWeek all these years. Thank you, and I'm going to go down the line and I'm going to thank you, so, you know, make some noise. I want to thank the Carpenter Contract Alliance of Metropolitan New York. Thank you so much. I want to thank Waste Management. Thank you. Empire, Blue Cross, Blue Shield. Oh, they're the loudest so far. Wait, let's see. All right. Altice, USA. All right. Goya Foods. There you go. Health First. Con Edison. Bronx Community College. Ostos Community College. Lehman College. United Healthcare. Oh, wait a minute. They're the loudest so far. Hold on. Lincoln Hospital. Mercy College. Blink Fitness. And BronxNet. Thank you so much. Okay, they won. All right. So, of course, BronxWeek main sponsor, Montefiore, an institution that has been a partner to BOEDC, to the Bronx Tourism Council, and to the Office of the Borough President for a number of our initiatives for quite some time. Those events include not only BronxWeek, but our annual Tour de Bronx, the largest recycling event in New York State, coming up in October. Mark your calendars. And also a number of heritage events that the Borough President's Office does. Thank you, Monty, and you know that we're close when we have the nicknames, right? They're Monty to us. Thank you very much. Thank you. Representing Montefiore today is the Senior Vice President and Executive Director of the Moses Campus. Help me in welcoming Dr. Peter Semchek.
Thank you so much. We are so pleased to be this year's gold sponsors of all of the wonderful activities that are taking place during the 2019 Bronx Week. As many of you know, Montefiore is the premier healthcare system in the Bronx and the largest employer in the Bronx, and we take our responsibilities as good community citizens very seriously. It's really our sincere pleasure to partner with Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz, with the Bronx Tourism Council on so many wonderful civic-minded and family-fun events that we plan on holding throughout the week and several weeks. We encourage you to sign up for two in particular that we're very interested in participating in. One is the food and farm tour that we're actually having at 3 of our schools this year, so that's a very exciting and fun event. And also on May 19th during the parade, we're going to have a section of the parade called the Health Pavilion. So if you have the time, May 19th is Sunday. It's the last day of the parade. Come and join us. And once again, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to sponsor this great event.
Thank you so much, Dr. Semchek. Okay. Well, now it's my pleasure to welcome to the podium my favorite Bronxite. I'm sure he's your favorite Bronxite as well. A man that has shown great leadership and enormous affection, not only for our borough, for all of New York City. I give you our Bronx Borough President, Ruben Diaz Jr.
Yeah, make some noise! Make some noise! It's BronxWeek! So first of all, let me just thank Olga Luz and the Bronx Tourism Council, as well as the president of the BOEDC, Marlene Cintron, for putting us all together. Let's give them, come on, give them a strong round of applause. This takes a long time and a lot of preparation. I also want to thank my staff. My Deputy Borough President, Marika Scott McFadden, is here, and the old Bronx Borough President staff. Can we all give them a strong round of applause? You guys are low in energy or something. I don't know. What is up here? First of all, I'm excited because, ladies and gentlemen, like Olga said, this is the 48th annual Bronx Week. We call it a week, but it's actually 10 days. It begins May 9th through May 19th. And this is the time of year where we all come to celebrate where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. This is where we celebrate everything special about the Boogie Down Bronx. This is where we celebrate every facet of the different communities. For instance, when you look at Bronx Week and you look at the itinerary, by the way, go to ilovethebronx.com. It's very easy. If you love the Bronx, just type in ilovethebronx.com and you get the entire calendar, the entire scheduling of the myriad different events. Every day of the 10 days is dedicated to a particular organization or theme or something that we're doing in the Bronx. For instance, we have a Senior Citizens Day event. We have a breakfast where we celebrate our veterans. There are 38,000 veterans in the Bronx, and we celebrate them because this is the greatest country in the planet, and we would not be eating hot dogs and hamburgers and drinking beer on the beach in the summertime if it were not for our veterans. Let's give our veterans a strong round of applause. We celebrate, one of the coolest events for me is our Centenarians Luncheon. Yes, we have all Bronxites who are 100 years and older. 100 years and older. They've outlasted buildings, brick and mortar here. We celebrate also volunteers that folks that, when I call the Bronx God's country, is because so much work has been done in our borough, and we know that that could not have happened if it were not for Bronxites with big hearts who are out there volunteering. I also want to acknowledge some of our elected officials who are here with us today. We have 2 city council members. We have Andy Cohen of the Northwest Bronx, Riverdale section. We also have the cowboy of the Bronx, Councilman Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. with us here. We want to thank all of the sponsors. We celebrate our businesses. Look, ladies and gentlemen, over the last 10 years alone, you often hear me speak of the revitalization of the Bronx and the changes that we've made here. And I admit that life isn't perfect, but we are working closely together to ensure that we offer opportunity to as many people who are willing to step up to the plate and take advantage of those opportunities. We celebrate our small businesses like, I see CTA's here represented by Amir, the owner of CTA, which is right next door, and think about that, sushi in the South Bronx. And so thank you, CTA's, for being here. These are the businesses that we have to represent and support. My good friend Almaudi's is here, a Bronx boy. Where's Almaudi's? A young guy, right, from the Bronx, Latino, Dominican, who decided that he wanted to make sure that he was part of the rebranding of our borough. This is what Bronx Week is all about. For decades, too many people had negative images, and we saw negative stereotypes, and we still see them. But this young man took it upon himself to not only open up Bronx Native, which is right around the corner. It's really cool. You get all types of Bronx paraphernalia. How many of you have tried to go, and every time I go on vacation, I want to wear Bronx t-shirts or a Bronx hat or a Bronx something to represent the Boogie Down Bronx. And quite often it's hard to get to that, right? Quite often it's hard to find where you can get good quality Bronx gear. If you go around the corner, talk to my friend Amaury and his team over there. Look, they even gave me this. They even gave me this nice little pin here, which is the New York City Metro card, but it says the Bronx in it. So Amaury, thank you and congratulations for what you do. And in terms of businesses, it's no coincidence why we are here at the Lit Bar. We are here because this represents who we are and our DNA and what we celebrate. I say that because back in 2016, Barnes & Noble, I'm gonna say their name, Barnes & Noble left. They were at the Bay Plaza Mall. We did everything that we could. We convinced them to stay a little, an extra time when they were initially saying that they wanted to leave. The owner of the mall not only accommodated them, but also laid out a piece of storefront so that they could come back, because they said that they would come back. That's what they said, right, Marlene? Yes. They said they wanted to analyze and they wanted to re-examine their business model, but that they would be back. Here we are 3 years later, and they're not back. And so what I say is, okay, who needs Barnes & Noble? Well, we don't need a savior. Right here at the Lit Bar in the South Bronx, this is owned, this is run, this is the concept of a Bronx girl who's Afro-Latina, who's from Hunts Point, who graduated from Lehman, and she's with us here today, Noel Santo. Raise your hand, let Noel. Come on, y'all can make noise for that. Come up, Noel, come up here. Y'all better make some noise for this. When you look at what's happening and transpiring all over the city of New York, when folks are speaking of displacement and gentrification, and people are saying, look, all of this is happening, all of this development is happening, but is it happening with us? Noel represents what we're doing differently here in the Bronx. Here in Mott Haven, we have seen a change. We have seen development. But think about the fact that, again, Amaury is a Bronx boy. If you look at the Mott Haven Bar and Grill, Rosa is Dominican, a Bronx girl. You look at Empanology, Bronx boy. You right here, right next door, Bistro, Alfredo, a Bronx boy, and certainly in Noel, what we have is a Bronx girl, and this is the ultimate. I mean a Bronx girl. I'm saying a Bronx woman, a Bronx woman, Bronx woman. My bad. What we have is a Bronx woman who had this beautiful concept. This is the Lit Bar because it's literature. It is the Lit Bar because it's lit, because we're on fire. It is the Lit Bar because there's an actually a bar right behind this where you can get lit. Let's give Noel a strong round of applause. You make me proud, Noel. By the way, it's not good enough to just clap for her or Amaury's or all of the businesses. We have to support them. And I was so proud that last week when we did the opening, hundreds of people came out and supported her, bought books. She had to have a special order. And right here, there's going to be a number of different programming. We're going to have, she's going to have everything from spoken word to read aloud. I can't wait to read some books to some of the kids in the Bronx. So again, welcome everybody to the Lit Bar. I also want to say that leading up to all of this, what Bronx Week is about is not only celebrating everything good in our borough, but also celebrating individuals that have done well in their craft, done well in their field, but not only have done well, they've never been bashful about saying that they're from the Boogie Down Bronx. And we induct those individuals from the Bronx to the Bronx Walk of Fame, which I'm going to announce who those individuals are momentarily. But this also leads to the Bronx Parade. And we invite everyone. We want everyone to come out Sunday, May 19th at 12 noon at Mashulu Parkway. We shut down. Don't ask me what the cross streets are. You can go to Mashulu and Bainbridge, but we shut down the entire Mashulu. You can't miss it. On one side, we have the Bronx Parade, where we see that over 80 schools come out and show their Bronx pride. We have other organizations. If you're an organization who wants to march in the parade, simply speak to Olga or Sarah or Monica Major. Monica Major is back there as well. Speak to our team. We would love to have you march in the parade. That parade feeds into the Bronx International Food Festival. If you're an Epicurean, if you're someone who likes food, if you're a foodie, we are second to none here in the Bronx. We are a borough of 1.4 million people. 41% of the people who live here today were born in another country. And what better way to bring everyone together than through food? And so we want to make sure that everyone comes out, and that then goes into the concert. That concert will have a little bit of everything for everyone. Bachata, merengue, Caribbean music. We're going to have a whole segment of unsigned, unknown Bronx talent. So we've had folks sending in their videos, and that's a great way for Bronx talent to get that exposure. And so again, we want to thank all of the sponsors for making that happen. I see Jon Covelli also from the zoo. He wants to call it the wildlife conservation, whatever. But it will always be the Bronx Zoo. Let's give Jon Covelli a strong round of applause. In fact, the Bronx Zoo at the Bronx Ball will also be recognized for the Tourism Award this year. That's often given to an institution who has done a fantastic job at making sure that people come from all over the world to our borough. In fact, tourism is up 15%. John, very quickly, what was tourism last year? What was your visitorship?
We're going to hit about 2 million people.
2 million people. When I started at Borough Hall 10 years ago, you were like 700,000, 800,000, right?
We've gone up about 20%.
We see that, and I can't wait to go see that dinosaur exhibit, huh?
It's the original Bronx Tale.
The original. There you go. Let's get up for Jon Covelli and the Bronx Youth. Thank you. I see Councilmember Rafael Salamanca. Did I see Rafael Salamanca, the chair of the Land Use Committee of the City Council? Let's give Rafa. By the way, 2 Walk of Famers are headlining our concert. So we're gonna have all of these different acts, bachata, merengue, salsa, so on and so forth, freestyle music. The headliner will be Fat Joe and the Terror Squad. And prior to that, we're gonna have Funkmaster Flex play an entire set to bring up Fat Joe, huh? Yes? Go Sarah. Let's give Sarah a strong round of applause. Okay, so now let me announce who our inductees are. And remember that being from the Bronx is not always about who is the best dancer or singer. It's about going out there and conquering your craft, number one. Number two, it's about being an unabashful Bronxite. And number three, it's about the message that we send to future generations of Bronxites. So our first inductee, hold on, give me 1 second. Our first inductee is a scientist. Carolyn Porco is a planetary scientist who is responsible for many of the discoveries of the stunning images that we see from Voyager and the Cassini missions. Over her career, she's been participating in producing some of the most iconic photos. So when you Google Saturn and Jupiter, when you Google some of the planets that are out there, think about this, that the Voyager 1 and Cassini, these are all like space missions. Who's in charge? Who's been part of the mastermind of that? A Bronx girl in Carolyn Porco. So, Dr. Porco. This is the message that we want to send to our young girls in particular in the Bronx. And when you look at the public school system, unfortunately, we don't see enough of science, computer sciences, and the sciences made available to our young folks. So she serves as a wonderful example that if we give our young kids the opportunity, if we give them the equipment, if we give them the instruction, they can go out there and not only conquer the world, but conquer the universe, literally. By the way, shout out to Joe Geiger and the folks at the Carpenters Union. Thank you, Joe. Putting people to work, making sure they're doing it safely and providing for their families, building the Bronx and New York City. Thank you, Joe, for being here. Our second inductee is Regina Spektor. Regina Spektor is a phenomenon. She is a child prodigy. She is a pianist. She is not only an extreme, wonderful vocalist. She was born in Moscow, but she lived in Riverdale. So she's a constituent of yours, Cohen. You better be good to her. That's a vote or two there. She has a melodious voice, and she's about to open up on Broadway in a couple of weeks. And again, if we have music in our public school system, if we give our children the equipment like we're doing at PS 48, if we give them the instruction, we know a number of things about music, that those kids who can read musical notes do better in math and other areas, but they're also extremely interested in coming to school and excelling academically. Regina Spektor serves as a model for all of our children. Let's give her a strong round of applause. And you can't talk about the Bronx without speaking about fight, and the fight in all of us. We are a borough who's resilient. I was asked last week, what is my favorite thing about the Bronx? And I say it's the people. And when you look at Bronxites, when you look at all of us, we've all been through challenges. The Bronx has been through many challenges. We've had our ups and downs, and thankfully, even though, again, we're not perfect, we are on the upswing. And that's because we all fight hard. When I call the Bronx God's country, it's because God's work is being done here every day, and because we are resilient. The resiliency of Bronxites is second to none. And one individual who has proven to be a fighter is someone who is not only went into boxing and was a boxer from 1982 to 1999. That's a long time to be a professional boxer. But he not only was a boxer, what he did was that he was the middle welterweight champion. He had the title from 1988 to 1999. He had championships in 3 different weight classes, from the IBF super middleweight, which was from 1992 to 1993, and the WBA light heavyweight title in 1992. So think about that, from middleweight to super middleweight, all the way to light heavyweight. That's a big spectrum there. He beat Tommy Hearns twice, right, champ? Twice. You beat him twice. He fought against all of the greatest, Roberto Duran and so on and so forth. What's fascinating about him is that his name is Iran, but he never ran from nobody. Ladies and gentlemen, our champion, Iran Barkley from Patterson Houses. Iran, come here, champ. Let's give up our champ, Iran Barkley. Say a few words, champ.
Well, I want to say that was a great introduction, and I'm honored to be accepting this on the Hall of Fame and walk and everything. And being a native of the Bronx, there's nothing I wouldn't do for the Bronx. I done been all over the world, but I always find myself coming back here to my roots, where everybody can see me and understand. Most athletes, professional guys, don't come back to the neighborhood to see their people, I come back to see these young children and kids, to let them look up and see that I'm real, you know, so. And I'm also from, right here from the Patterson Housing Projects. You know what I'm saying? And coming through the 70s and 80s, I was a former gang member and everything. I was a former Black Spade gang member, but I didn't let that stop me for what I wanted to do. And my peoples, you know, I never looked down on them or never forgot them. So when I got it, I gave it all back to them. And that's what it was. And I look up to these young kids today to say, you can do anything you want to do in this world. Just trust yourself, your family, and God.
And where did you start boxing?
And where I started boxing at, I trained right here on St. Anne's Avenue at St. Mary's. That's the first place I started out. It was me, my sister. She was the first woman boxer before Layla Ali and all of them in the 70s. Her name is Iran Barkley, and my nephew now, he's coming along with the legacy. You know, he's coming along. He's a football player, and he's a quarterback for the Giants. So the bloodline is going strong. So, I mean, I had everything to do. And I mean, New York, the South Bronx, has taught me a lot, and I would never leave. I always came back to look up for everybody. Hey.
Thank you. That's right. If you're a Giant fan like me, Saquon Barkley is Iran's nephew. Saquon Barkley for the New York Giants. So with that said, I'm going to hand it back over to Olga Luz Tirado. Let's give Olga another strong round of applause.
Thank you. So there you go, the 2019 Bronx Walk of Fame inductees. The Tourism Award goes to the Bronx Zoo for all the work that they've done. So in terms of, so for the media, if you guys want to do any one-on-one, we could do it in this area over here. We can get ready for that. For the rest of you, feel free to meander. And if you see something you like, Noelle and her team are here. Go ahead and purchase. Go ahead, you know, purchase away. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again soon.
I'm here with the owner of the Lit Bar, the one and the only Noelle Santos. How do you feel about being the kickoff location for Bronx Week?
Oh, it's such an honor to be the first stop. All the energy here, we just launched on Saturday, so it's just amazing to see the space alive into our second week.
So, it is your second week opening. How has it been so far?
It's been incredible. We actually had to place an emergency order just to have books on the shelves for this event. The Bronx Reads, and we came out strong during our grand opening event series, and the Bronx proved that they support this. We want this.
Tell me about some future programs that you have planned here at the Lit Bar.
So we absolutely want to be a bridge between, you know, Bronx talent. There's no shortage of that, but we want to create that opportunity, create a pipeline to the publishing industry and offer those opportunities. Children's events every week, all week, poetry slams, game nights, whatever you can think of.
So thank you so much for speaking with us. We will be right back after a break. I'm here with Councilmember Lafayette Salamanca. Can you tell me what you think about today's honorees?
How are you? Well, I'm really excited to be here today. First, you know, big shout out to Noelle Santos on opening up the Lit Bar, the only bookstore in the Bronx. And, you know, it's always an exciting time when we kick off Bronx Week, where we get to, number one, showcase what the Bronx is all about. During these, they call it a week, but it's probably like 11 days where we're jumping around in all areas of the Bronx, really recognizing, you know, the cultural establishments that we have, the sports establishments, just the beauty of the Bronx. And then ultimately we get to honor, you know, individuals who have played a major role in uplifting the Bronx, whether they're scientists, whether they're boxers, or whether they're musicians. And so, you know, it's a really exciting time, and I'm just happy to be here.
So there are a lot of events that take part during Bronx Week. Which one is your favorite?
Well, there's a few events actually. We just jump around. This is actually the kickoff. Is one of my favorite events where we see the excitement not only in the elected officials but in the community and all different community-based organizations that are participating in this event.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back after a break. I'm here with professional boxer Iran "The Blade" Barkley, who competed from 1982 to 1999. Congratulations on your honoree today, as an honoree today of the Bronx Walk of Fame class of 2019. What were some of your thoughts when you found out you were becoming an honoree?
Oh man, I said, wow, I'm finally gonna make it there. I seen my old buddy Jake LaMotta and a couple of other fighters go. I said, wow. I said, that's neat. You know what I'm saying? I said, so I'm next. I gotta be next.
So the Bronx has held a special place in your heart. Tell me, how did it motivate you to start your career in boxing?
Well, it motivated me because I was a former gang member. So, coming from the gangs and knowing how things was, my sister got me into boxing. She was the first woman lady boxer, along with me, my cousins, and them, and it was just great, So to get me in, I was never like, I was scared, you know what I'm saying? So she took me to the gym and trained with my cousins and them, and bang, the rest was history.
Why is the Bronx so important to you?
Huh?
Why is the Bronx so important to you?
It's because it's come so far from seeing how the Bronx is now than what it was in the 70s and 80s. We had abandoned buildings and burnt out buildings, and everything was smoked out, and because those are the days that gangs and everybody was hanging out, and drugs was real rampant then. So it was bad. Just to see it now, I said, wow, we came a long ways. You know what I'm saying? It came real far to come when the Clintons came in and put the money into the Bronx, and everybody started going up and building up and fixing things up. That was great,
Iran, congratulations on your win again. Amazing job. We will be right back after this break. I'm here with Peter Semchuk, Vice President of Montefiore. Peter, thank you so much for being here with us today. What is your favorite part of Bronx Week?
The people who live in this borough make it so special, and Montefiore's been here for over 100 years taking care of so many people, so we're very happy to be part of this week.
So Bronx Week really celebrates why it's so a great place to live and why it's a great place to work. What makes the Bronx special for you?
For me, again, it's the people that work here, it's the people that live here, it's the communities that we have here. Half of the Montefiore employees actually live in the Bronx, so we are very, very committed to the members of our community and to the people that live here.
What are your thoughts on today's honorees?
I'm so excited to have met Iran Barkley. I used to watch him fight when I was much younger than I am today, and it's just so nice to meet him in person. What a wonderful man he is.
How does it feel to know that these role models have grown up in the Bronx?
It feels really wonderful because it sends a message to so many young people that they too can grow up the right way and be successful and have wonderful, illustrious careers.
Peter, thank you so much. We will be right back after this break. I'm here with Council Member Andrew Cohen of the 11th District. Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
Why is Bronx Week so important for the Bronx?
It's just a great celebration of all the good things that are happening here and an opportunity for us to let the rest of the city know. So I'm thrilled to celebrate.
What makes the Bronx such a great place to work?
There are so many hidden treasures and gems here in the Bronx. In my district, Wave Hill, Van Cortlandt Park, Lehman College. So getting the opportunity to let people know is really what it's all about.
So with our past honorees, what do you think, what kind of example do they set for future honorees in the Bronx?
Well, again, as you see here, the Bronx is really booming. Great things are happening all around us, and we're looking forward to continuing that tradition and moving it forward.
Thank you so much. I'm here with Jon Covelli, Vice President of the Wildlife Conservation Society, also known as the Bronx Zoo. Thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations on your tourism award. You said that you guys have experienced a 20% increase in tourism.
That was over the period of time that the borough president was talking about. We're at about 2 million visitors this year. It's been an exciting period. We've had some incredible experiences over the last several years, new exhibits that's opened up. Last year, though, we did something really special and different, which was around the Bronx, and it was the Boogie Down Bronx, and we highlighted the incredible, rich cultural, musical history of the borough and tied it back to this borough, this institution. Next year, we're celebrating 125 years. And it's been a long time coming, but it's exciting to be here and celebrating this great borough.
Tell me about some of the work that's gone into trying to increase the tourism in the Bronx Zoo.
So one of the things that we've been looking at is really how do we put incredibly new, exciting experiences that people are not going to have anywhere else. The place candidly sells itself. We are the largest urban zoo in the country. We have over 6,000 different animals that are there. We're a major global conservation organization, so the Bronx Zoo is really the mirror to a global conservation effort, so that when people come there, it's not just coming to see these wonderful animals, they're actually helping to save wildlife and wild places around the world. And this year we have something a bit special. We decided to go back about 200 million years, and we have what is called our Dino Safari. It is the most realistic dinosaur experience you can have anywhere in the country. Work with some incredible people. This is by far my favorite. This is one of the advertisements that we're using, the original Bronx Tale. It is a great example of how we're taking advantage of this wonderful place that we're in and helping to promote the borough, but also the Bronx Zoo.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back after a quick break. I'm with Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. What are your thoughts on today's honorees?
Well, we're here, first of all, at the Lit Bar, and what I love about Bronx Week is that we celebrate everything good that has happened and continues to happen in our borough, like the Lit Bar, so we want everybody to come down here. In terms of the honorees, they embody and exemplify everything that we want to preach and teach to our young and future generations. We have a scientist in Carolyn Porco. And when you look at all of the celestial images of Saturn and Jupiter, think about a Bronx girl who is part of the masterminds that bring those images to us here through the missions of Voyager and Cassini. Then we have Regina Spektor, who has a melodious voice, who was a child prodigy, lived in Riverdale. If you give our kids musical instruments and you give them the opportunity, they'll go and conquer the world. That's why the Boogie Down is known for our music. And certainly Iran Barkley, champion in 3 different weight classes, 3 different divisions. He embodies and exemplifies the fight and the resiliency of who we are as Bronxites. So we have a great class this year. And then it all leads to the Bronx Parade, May 19th at Mashula Parkway, the International Food Festival, and of course the concert series that's headlined by one of our very own Fat Joe and the Terror Squad.
So Bronx Week really highlights why the Bronx is a great place to work and live. Why is the Bronx a great place to work and live?
Because we're the birthplace of hip-hop, we're the cradle of salsa, we're the birthplace of doo-wop. There's so much flavor and talent here. If you look at how we've been able to transform the world in media, in fashion, you know, in music, it comes and hails from the Boogie Down Bronx. So we're tired of people putting the narrative, the negative narrative and negative images of the Bronx. That's why we celebrate Bronx Week every year, so that we can control that message.
Thank you, President Diaz. We'll be right back after this break. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. For more information on Bronx Week, please visit BronxNet.tv. I'm Jericho reporting for BronxNet. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.